oh, I bet Eddie Hearn's looking at the Showtime, he must be devastated. Not really. I look at it and go, fantastic.
This is Jonathan Agger, fifth Pro Boxing Fans, joined by Eddie Hearn. You mentioned in the last interview about looking at Twitter and things like that. A lot of people, when you know, the Canelo deal with Showtime was announced, was pulling up your face and mentioning you. When you said, you know, all those years ago when you moved in with DAZN that Showtime you felt were going out of the business, do you look back and think, are you surprised they're still here and the strength they've had this year?
Listen, a lot of things I say is for reaction. But I also did believe that Showtime wouldn't stay in boxing as long as they have. But you have to understand, the way that I work is I create headlines. When I go into a new market, I want to ruffle feathers, and that was just a line that I gave. But I did believe, because we know internally that Paramount, Showtime have not been over the moon with the boxing business. And a lot of people, not just me, felt that Showtime would pull out the business. The slate at the moment is really good, and I give respect to Stephen Espinosa and the guys. I want to see these great fights. It's great for boxing. People are so bitter and strange in the world where it's like, oh, I bet Eddie Hearn's looking at the Showtime, he must be devastated. Not really. I look at it and go, fantastic. Because DAZN, I go to DAZN and go, have you seen what Showtime are doing? We need to step it up. And now I'm more driven than ever to produce the best 6-month schedule for the back end of the year. Because at the moment, PBC are winning the race in 2023, no question. So we've got to fire back. This is just the start of that. But we've got bigger nights to come as well. So all it does is give us a kick up the arse, give DAZN a kick up the arse, so it's great. So I didn't expect Showtime to be in boxing as long as they have. But a lot of what I say is to ruffle feathers and to piss people off. And, you know, unfortunately, you have to bear the brunt when they play it back 5 years later or whatever it was, 4 years later.
Is that ever annoying? Or?
Nah, listen, I've got to stop. You know, the one thing I said in an interview earlier, you mustn't let people dim your light, right? And one thing I was guilty of over the last few days is you read the negativity and the wildness of Twitter, people just talking absolute bollocks, and you start thinking, I started thinking, oh, some people not happy with Joshua White. I'm thinking, how could, like, people are actually messaging me from the industry going, how can people not be happy with this fight? He's fighting Wilder in December. This is the biggest fight out there. And I started saying to Frank Smith, do you think it'll sell out? And he's like, are you mad? It's going to sell out in 2 hours. I'm like, oh, I don't know. I read a few people on Twitter, and then afterwards I was like, whatever you do, stop letting people who have no brain or no ambition or no to try and get in your lane and get in the way of what you're thinking. This was an instant sellout. I knew it should be, and I kicked myself for that, and I won't be doing it again.
Last one, Errol Spence, you mentioned Showtime. Did you get to see him train, and what's your thoughts on the Crawford fight?
I didn't go to the gym because I literally only popped in for dinner, but great fight. Showtime fight. I'm not going to come out and say, oh, it's two guys that are a bit old. It's a brilliant fight. I can't wait to watch it.
How many buys?
Between 400 and 600.